The likely Republican presidential nominee, Mitt Romney, is set to deliver next month's commencement address at the nation's largest evangelical university, Liberty University. Romney's hoping to win over evangelicals, but his visit is already stirring up controversy. Students are flooding social media, expressing their outrage. One writes, Liberty University should have gotten a Christian to speak, not someone who practices a cult. And here's another post. I'm glad I'm not graduating this year. I would not want to end my studies at a Christian university by being sent into the world at commencement by a Mormon. We came to Liberty because of our faith in Jesus, not for political reasons. Joining me now is the president of the Family Research Council, Tony Perkins. And Tony, I know you're also a Liberty grad and you received an honorary doctorate from the school recently, so welcome.
Good morning, Carol. How are you?
I'm good. Well, let me start by asking, do you agree with your alma mater's decision to invite Romney?
I mean, Liberty has a long history of having political figures speak at their graduations. When I graduated in 1992, it was Pat Buchanan was the speaker. I was on campus, in fact, received my honorary doctorate when John McCain spoke back in 2006. So there's a long history of these, of having political figures come to the campus and speak. I think it's full of potential for Mitt Romney. I think it's going to be educational for both him and for the evangelical community, and it's an opportunity for him. And I think it's not a complete surprise. There's a strong connection between him and the university with one of the few evangelicals that's been supporting him from the very beginning, has strong ties to the university and is on the board of trustees. So it's not a big surprise that he's been invited to speak there.
But what if Romney is booed? What if some students decide not to walk during graduation?
I don't think they'll do that. Look, this is these students are very mature. They may not agree with it, and that's certainly their right. And there may be some that might pass on graduation, but I doubt it. They will be very respectful, probably more so than any campus across America. You will find I think, a very warm reception for Mitt Romney there at Liberty University.
I don't know, Tony. I mean, young people nowadays, they know what they're doing, and they're strong-minded. It could happen.
But Liberty's a little bit different. The character, look, as Christians, we can disagree strongly, but we show respect. And I think they will show respect for Mitt Romney. They may not warmly applaud him. They may continue to express differences. And clearly, there are differences theologically between Mormons and Christians. But here's an opportunity for Mitt Romney to talk about what he has in common with evangelicals, and that's on the value issues. And I think that's where he is going to make ground, as he talks about the shared values, because clearly those of us who work in public policy know that there are strong shared values between those in the Mormon religion and Christianity. Again, clear differences theologically, but a lot of shared values.
I think, let's move on to the adult world now. I think a lot of evangelical Republican voters say they're going to support Mitt Romney, but the passion isn't there. And the important thing about that is evangelical voters, they like to get out and they get active. They go door to door. They do phone calls for the candidates, and they don't appear to want to do that for Mitt Romney. They may support him, but they're not so passionate about him.
You're absolutely right, Carol. In fact, I was back in my home state of Louisiana last week, and I was in the grocery store, and a man came up to me and said, hey, Tony, if you get an opportunity, will you tell Mitt Romney to give me a reason to be enthusiastic for him? I mean, look, I know Barack Obama is not the answer. I know he has bad economic policies. I know his social policies and domestic policies are a disaster, but I want to be excited about Mitt Romney, and I'm not. Help me get there. And so I think that is a message I've heard over and over, and I think Mitt Romney is the only one that can solve that.
Right now, Tony, what can Mitt Romney say? I know he's been playing up the war on women, and he's talked a lot about his wife, Ann Romney, and her decision to stay at home and raise her children, and that strikes a chord with evangelical voters. But what do you say? What can you say right now to stir up the passion for Mitt Romney among evangelical voters?
Well, he's got to reach out to the youth vote, he's got to reach out to the women vote, and he does have to reach out to the social conservative vote, and as you mentioned earlier, the Hispanic vote. Trying to cross over, and there are some links between those, and a lot of those come back to the social issues. As you mentioned, talking about stay-at-home moms, that speaks to evangelicals, and it speaks to women as well. It also speaks to some degree to the youth, where he is challenged as well. I think here's what he needs to do. John McCain showed this in 2008 when he picked Sarah Palin to give some, a bridge into the social conservative Tea Party community. He got enthusiasm, he received enthusiasm as a result of that pick. Mitt Romney's got to pick a strong conservative running mate. He also needs to talk about, again, those shared values. I think one of the issues that should be prominent in his discussion is the court. Most evangelicals, social conservatives, fiscal conservatives understand the importance of the Supreme Court. The next president, the next term, will probably pick 2 justices, and we see how important the court is. It's debating health care right now.
Tony Perkins, thank you so much for joining us, and I hope we talk to you after Mitt Romney gives that commencement speech. So we'll see what happens. Thank you so much.
I may be there, Carol.
I bet you will, actually. Thanks, Tony. We appreciate it.